So inside doctor's surgeries, there's an awful lot of bureaucracy, yes?
Yeah.
And is that when you go and see a GP, for example,
Yeah.
and the GP has to type up what they've spoke about in the doctor's surgery, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that patient come in and said this, this, and this, then went and did this, this, and
Mm-hmm.
this, and then I gave them this, this, and this, and then I wrote them out this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And then after that, that takes a few minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got to see another patient, and then
Yeah.
the same thing again.
Yeah.
And then that patient goes, and then the same thing again. We're living in the dawn of AI. It's been
Yeah.
around for a very long time.
Yeah.
But yet, no one seems to want to align anything because, oh, it's too expensive. But I don't know. So we got AI. So you mean to tell me that there was some CCTV type where you can wire into a computer? This is what I was playing around with. And when a certain person spoke,
Mm-hmm.
now to you it can sound like a male voice. There's birds tweeting in the background. You can clear out all of the background noise.
Yeah.
Okay? And then what's more, the computer would know on the voice recognition who
Mm-hmm.
was speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and you could make this color code.
Yeah.
And then when you've got multiple people talking over one another,
Mm-hmm.
you can then start filtering out and pick out. So if you made one voice purple, one voice red, another male voice was green,
Yeah.
depending on their distance away from the microphone,
Mm-hmm.
you can then highlight which one is what and
Yeah.
tell the computer to remove all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was playing around with this, and what was more, you could get these people's voice captured, and once it was captured, you could get them to say anything you wanted. Again, questionability there. So this was going back in the times of Banham, so that's many years back.
Yeah.
That's many, many years back. So you can't walk into a doctor's surgery and have a microphone in there and doing this word speaking into a microphone in order to get it to write things.
Yeah.
This has been around for donkeys
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And also being able to control a laptop in the times I was in Hingham. So this was back in 2011
Mm-hmm.
and beyond that. So it's probably when I was back in Griffin Court the first time round. So that is quite many years back. And that you could get the computer to learn you, and you could speak to the computer and get it to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I wanted to see if you could do more with it,
Yeah.
which you can.
Yeah.
And now it's got to a stage where, well, you can make a politician act Scrooge if you wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
or you could make a politician become Oliver Twist if you really wanted to. Get Trump's face on there. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen some videos.
This has been around for a
Mm.
lot longer than you are aware of. So you're only hearing about it now.
Yeah.
But this type of understanding for me
Mm-hmm.
has been around for the best part of a decade and perhaps even 20 years. Let's say
Yeah. Yeah.
this is not something that is new. This has been around for a long time. So with this in mind, you walk into your GP surgery and you sit down at a specific area, right?
Yeah.
Your GP is sat over here.
Mm-hmm.
Your GP can hands-free, no longer needs to do bureaucracy. When you talk, it's being written on the system,
Mm-hmm.
written, and then GP says, okay, this is this
Yeah.
and this.
Yeah.
Let me check you out.
Uh-huh.
This is being wrote. Then when this is being, okay, right, okay, I think you need this, this, and this over at the hospital, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you say these key words, it automatically books an appointment for the hospital for what type of treatment is needed
Mm-hmm.
based on the doctor talking near
Yeah.
a microphone
Yeah.
and the patient talking on the microphone,
Mhm.
explaining their symptoms,
Yeah.
which then helps doctor, patient narrow it down.
Mhm.
Doctor doesn't have to waste time typing all of this out. It's all done. Anything that needs to be booked, and then as soon as they say prescription,
Yeah.
you will need this medication, that medication, and this medication, dum dum, and then it sends it off to dispensary.
Yeah.
The doctor just needs to have a quick glance to make sure that that is all accurate. Then, slowly but surely, sometimes it's not going to hear the right medication, different things like that. The doctor can have a look at that really quickly and just maybe tweak it. But the more the microphone AI work, it will tweak the words because the doctor will say some medication in a certain way.
Yeah.
This AI is going to be registered to this doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody else is in another doctor's surgery, in a doctor's room, and they talk with a slight different patter,
Mm-hmm.
the more that is being said around this
Yeah.
microphone
Yeah.
to this computer,
Mm-hmm.
the more it understands the individual talking
Yeah.
with the slight quirks and
Mhm.
cues.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, in the beginning, the doctor may have to tweak that a fair bit.
Mhm.
But towards the end, there is no need to. There's no need to tweak it.
Yeah.
Because it would have learnt the
Mhm.
individual. Patient comes in and says this, this, and this. It's all there. That's if you even need to document all of this stuff in the first place, because to me it seems a bit weird. You know, the patient came in and said this, this, and this, and hold on a second, and this, and this, and then, hold on a sec. That's not being a doctor,
Yeah.
if you think about it, because they've got to put so much energy and effort into thinking.
Into
right, I've got to
that,
write
yeah,
this, I've got to move this, I've got to type that. And this is a reluctance to change the system.
Yeah.
This way makes it more hands-free. And all the doctors really got to focus on is using that knowledge, that database of knowledge that they have, and not get hung up with distractions of type this, all right, I've got to remember this, right, I better remember this, now I'm trying to remember this, I'm juggling this over here. Now I've got to think, right, what was it you said? Right, you said this, right, okay, so then does that mean that all right, you're going to need this medication? Oh, hold on, you just said something else, hang on, and now I've got to...
Yeah.
This really impedes their ability to, one, see patients, two, causes waiting times to just skyrocket. You can see more patients in a day with this process, therefore it gets the lists down. Happier community. And then with this, it can really get going to the point where you've said your symptoms. The database is obviously learning for a reason.
Yeah. And it will need know your medication you already have, and if something cannot be mixed, it will suggest to the doctor.
So right now, the best policy that is in place is, oh, I can't see you, but go see a pharmacist. And then you go down to the pharmacist, there's just one, and there's a waiting list. There's a waiting room now. But yet you haven't got a machine inside the pharmacist where you can go and say, oh, I have this sort of pain in my head or something like that. And it goes, boom, okay, on aisle 15, there is this medication. Try this.
Yeah.
Please tell me your name. Oh, it's this, this, and this. Okay, we'll save that. Come back and see this point in a week. Did it work? You go back. If you don't go back to it, it worked, and it will assume that it worked. If it didn't work and you go back, okay, now I got a few more symptoms. Okay, try this one as well. Then it will narrow it down, which then forwards back to the GP database. You know, so you've sort of got AI doctor, if you like, rather than see a pharmacist where it's sort of wait, kind of, you know, in a waiting room, and then you're next to someone that's that is just then spreading it. You know, especially in the winter. This is great in the summer, but in the winter,
No.
One person has got a cold, let's say. Now, 5 people are going to walk away with a cold. I mean, it's good if you're in the business of making, cold and flu medication.
Yeah. Drug business, drug stores.
Yeah, really great if it's that. But in this type of environment, and then you then have travelled somewhere, you work somewhere else, and then you've just caught that, and now you've just taken it to your workplace.
And you'll spread it
and
even
you'll spread
more.
it there. Then you're in your local shop.
And other
and
people.
And then that person's now got it. 5 other people have got it. 10 people have got it from here. Then further 10 people have got it over there. This is the way it spreads.
They go to different shops and and then the whole area.
Where is if you were into the pharmacy? I mean, it then keeps anyone who's got a cold or flu away, and you can go and talk into an AI pharmacy, if you like. You're there. How many minutes is that going to take? Not very long. And then if you had a self-scan, it tells you on what aisle your medication you'll need is at. You go find it. You've got it. Beep. Done. Card. Doosh. You're out. Limiting the spread of cold and flu. No one wants it each year. No one wants it. And then this minimizes the spread. You are less likely to infect people in that. Hell, put it outside if you need to. Just run in and grab the medication that you need. Scan it on your way out. Straight up, just as done, just like that. You haven't come into contact with the pharmacist. The pharmacist can then sort of do the stuff that is a bit more... You need to speak to the pharmacist for this one. or you need to go and see your GP. We'll book you in an appointment to the GP surgery. The GP surgery, if it's something more serious, it can flag that. If it's out of the jurisdiction of a pharmacist, then it can take you to the GP, can't it? And likewise with the GP. If you call in, this is my symptoms, maybe go see a pharmacist, rah-de-rah-de-rah. This one might be able to narrow it down, blah-de-blah, X, Y, Z, Then it can look for patterns. Well, if it's seen that you've got a repeated illness that keeps on wax and waning, that's going to require more looking at. It's going to be a bit more in depth. It shouldn't be happening like that. There's a pattern. So therefore, this pattern then could be looked at and put into a database as this could be the warning signs of something more serious. Therefore, it gets the GP to, okay, right, all right, we see the pattern. Okay, we're going to run you for some more tests at the hospital, I think. You're probably going to need this, this, and this. Again, AI's recorded that. Boom. It's gone off to the hospital. The hospital AI's picked it up. Ding. Okay, appointment on this date because it knows the appointments and how far back they are. This leaves more doctors, more time, more hands-free. They haven't got to type anything down. They haven't got to write it as you go. It's all done. And then this helps because if this gets better, this type of database, which it will, if something is overlooked, it could prompt the consultant, it could prompt the doctor, it could prompt them, after you've tried that, if this doesn't go away, recommend this. And it can interject with its... And before you know it, you take a little bit more care of waiting times. That's one thing that pleases a lot of people. You haven't got to spend all of the time with the doctor using their brain power. Their brain power needs to be exhausted on their knowledge, their database of, they're very good at diagnosing and doing this, this, and this. They're also teaching AI this as well. This then helps the AI at the pharmacy, stops the pharmacist from being overrun, because you never know, they could be full of cold or whatever. I'm really not going into work today. This causes a pain in the arse in the community. People get quite frustrated with that, rightly so or wrongly so, depending on how you see that. This limits the spread, contagion, at least. So it means that you're less likely per season to get cold and flu, which is great for most people. And then it stops the spread. Because then parent gives it to kid goes to school, people coming from different areas from the school, they're then all infected. This is just like a runaway train, really. It's a runaway train. And I think this just helps doctor out, and this is how you end the bureaucracy, is implement something into it that helps it. Don't you think?
Yes, I agree.
And this is a very easy thing to actually get done because this technology has been around. That's 20 years ago? Best part of 18 years ago? So, and this is being relied on heavily by myself, and I was relying heavily on this in schools as well. When your first little e-mates come about, so, was it e-mate? Something like that. I relied really heavily on this. Man, the technology understood me better than any teacher did. It understood me better. I needed a translator. AI got me. So, I'd say AI, I'd just say computers.
Computer,
But this has been there. The one thing that is a little bit weird with this is the AI should be taught to listen to the patient, take in half a breath and a full breath for the full stop and the comma. Yes, because if not, you get a wall of text. You don't need to say comma. You don't need to say this, because if not, you'll just type comma. It should be listening to the breath, the pattern in that. You never guess who I saw the other day. Again, and then somebody else interjects. You can have some speech bubbles, or you can have the doctor's voices in purple and the patient's voices in green. So you can see what the doctor was said and
see exactly the communication.
And then this helps to see the pattern.
Mm.
If there's any pattern. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, someone that got the steps towards cancer started to show these types of signs that were just misdiagnosed because they look like something else.
Yeah, it can happen many times.
And AI could pick up on the patterns, which there is. There seems to be these sort of telltale signs that can be overlooked because, did you eat something dodgy the other day?
Yeah.
You know, is it because we gave you a You know, there's these sort of patterns start to emerge.
Yeah.
Not the same for everybody, but again, certain groups have a certain pattern, certain group has a certain pattern, and certain groups have a certain pattern that all lead to the sort of same sort of outcome, if you like.
Yeah.
It's pattern based. AI can look for these patterns. Because it's going to be impossible. Well, it's not, but it would be a challenge for a doctor to remember every single person that they see and every single patient that was said, especially if it's over the broad course of 6 months. They're not going to be able to look for these patterns very much because it's once I've seen you, I got to see somebody else. And then, how many people did I see today? Cool, I think it was this many. What did I tell them all? And then next time they come in, and it's by that time a month has gone by. A month has gone by, and then how many people have you seen in that time? And can you really remember the first consultation to the second one to be able to link the pattern?
No.
Not saying that this is a lack of skill for the doctor. It really isn't.
It's
but on top of everything that they're juggling,
it's a lot.
It's an awful lot.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And therefore, you can be misdiagnosed.
Yeah.
So, and then, it can escalate, and it puts the pressure on the hospital that your treatment has to be more intensive, more intrusive, more, you want trying to be getting it before. And they say that the earlier signs that you catch these things is better than leaving it.
Then later, when there's more.
So this would help.
Yeah.
And then, if you think about it, that will be quite a cheery thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, that, you should start to see a reduction. So that's how I would implement that. That's something that I would implement very much so. In the beginning, it would start off small and sort of speaker box at the AI type in a pharmacy.
Yeah.
If you had multiple of these in there, you could see 4 people. People can queue to see that, or see the pharmacist if they, But if it can tell you where that medication is on the shelf, label it. Each medication has a sort of aisle and a sort of label for that shelf unit, and it can help you find it easier. You're in and out. You're getting on with your life.
Show you picture of the box on their screen, so it's easier. Oh, it's green. Let's go and look there for green. Oh, and that's it.
Yeah. And then oh, right, okay, so that's over there. Right, that's all right. I'm gonna go over there and get it. You ain't got to spend all that time looking at every single packet there because it's overwhelming. You got to admit, it's so bombarding because every company seems to want to do the same thing. Look at me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. I'm not wanting to pick you.
Yeah.
I'm looking for this.
Yeah, I want something specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this can take the burden off of GP, and it can also make people aware. Actually, you probably need to see a GP about this. I've just looked. There is availability for this date. Do you want me to book it in now? Oh, yes, please. Take this medication in the meantime because it will help to alleviate your symptoms. Go see the GP. GP already then knows. They've got a rough idea of what it is. They don't have to read it. It can be told. If you had a speaker with the AI saying, your next patient went to one of these, this was their symptom. Okay, before the patient's even in, that grey matter is already... it's already churning, let's say. And the GP can then see you even quicker. I think this is what you need. Okay, we're going to book you in for this, this, and this. See the patient confirms, okay, right, this isn't right. It's very much more,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's where I'd go with it, personally.
Yeah.
And then it becomes connected. And then if you started to get these abroad, one thing was I had an operation done on my knee when I was abroad.
Yeah.
No one knows it here. So I've had some works done whilst I've been overseas, and no one here knows about it. Only what I've told them. And if I haven't told them everything, because I just assumed. But if these were overseas, again, it can link this sort of back home for when you get home. Most people don't know that they should tell, you should tell
your GP
your
that,
GP
that you had
that
something
you had this
done here in another country because you were on holiday or something.
And then what was done, this was done, because I don't think everywhere sort of does do all of this sort of stuff. The data isn't really all that shared. Connectivity is one of the most biggest things that I've noticed is just
compatibility
not really true.
doesn't do it, does it?
Whereas AI would know that it come from, let's say, Africa, and it can translate it in transit because it's going to Britain. And then someone who has come from Africa to Britain has some work done, and it can translate it and perhaps put it into I don't know, an African database somewhere where they can read that in their native tongue, which is easy. You ain't got to sit there and try and translate it all, do you know? Wherever it may be, China or wherever, Zimbabwe, Greece, Australia's the same. So, no translation there. But yeah, there's, you can have it can all be translated in transit.
Yeah.
It just keeps you in the know. It keeps your medical records up to date if you really need to keep your medical records up to date, because some nations don't, some do. But then, am I in a database over there then? No, because I don't think it was written anywhere. So, I don't know whether that works or not. Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
It puts the opportunity of, if you make this successful here in Britain, it's something to go and put in. Hey, we got this, by the way. You do? Would you like us to install it? Yeah, go on then. Can't see why not. Or no thanks, we don't do that. We don't need it. Which then could perhaps help manufacturers that make medication. They could. Oh, we're starting to see a rise of this. Okay, we can start making the medication to counter those symptoms. Do you see what I mean? Okay, that one's now dropped off. Okay, we don't need to make the medication for that. Because you'll notice that most of the medication is made elsewhere, in a place where they're not documenting health records. And it's strange. How can they ever get ahead of a curve on something if they don't know? And then they could be making tablets that are in an abundance, which can be a waste of resource. When they don't need to, if it's smaller amount of numbers. Do you get what I mean? So somewhere along the lines, this kind of helps everybody involved with that, doesn't it? Really, if you think about it, it helps the manufacturer for medication. This thing has started peaking up, or this has become quite a, for whatever reason, again, patterns. Their database can then, right, okay, this one sort of dropped off, but we need these ingredients for that, because that helps these symptoms. Then it helps the scientists think, right, okay, this one started picking up. All right, you need some of this. Apparently, this worked in for this to alleviate that symptom, this symptom, this symptom. Okay, and then you're well ahead. They haven't got to needlessly make something, and then okay, they're not. Okay, this is starting to drop off. Okay, we just need a few packets of those then. But good to know for next time if it ever rears up again, or this rears up, or this becomes the main theme. There was an increase in broken arms. Okay, we need this. Okay, more plaster. I guess it's a little different with that. So then you just haven't got to keep making this stuff. If you don't need it. And then, okay, that started to drop down, so we don't need to use that one, but this one's now started. Okay, so it's going to be a year of this, it looks like. Okay, right, we'll get those there. The hospitals have already got what they need, instantly there, ready and waiting. You ain't really got to do anything. You haven't got to say nothing. It just knows, because of all of this data can be used in a very good way. So that's wonderful, really, I think. Yeah, I'm going to leave this one here, because that's where it's at.
Okay.